Welcome to Payroll Accounting. So this is going to walk you through the setup of the course in Brightspace and just a little bit of the expectations. So this is what your home screen in Brightspace will look like for the course. Down below you'll have announcements. This may populate with your See Now too, which is where your homework is. It is not populated right now, but the publishers tell us that it does connect, so hopefully you'll see due dates here. If you do not, though, the due dates will be in the See Now 2 site itself as well as in the syllabus. So if we go into the Lessons tab up here on the top, everything's going to be that you select to the left. So you'll click your Start here, and it's going to give you a course overview, what to expect in this class. Then down below is your class syllabus. Again, it looks a little bit off. If you opened it in Word, like all the fonts would look good. They look a little like smaller here when you're viewing it, but you still see all the details that you really need. So it gives you all the information. So please take the time to read over your class syllabus. Here it shows you how your grade is going to be determined and how much everything is worth from your test to your homework to your project, what all chapters we cover, which is really all the chapters in the book, all 7 of them, your grading scale, and then the class policies. So make sure you read over these, especially focus here on the project. The payroll project is required. It's worth 150 possible points. And it's submitted in different, I think I've changed this now to 3 different submissions. It was 4, but now I believe I got it down to 3. And then your tests will be timed for 75 minutes, and there'll be a lockdown browser so that you can't open up any outside sites. And then sometimes students struggle with that lockdown browser. It's through Respondus, which is in a different site than the test is. So just be patient and make sure you'll first have to download that Respondus browser, but then you have to go into the test through the Respondus browser. If you try to go outside of it, it'll ask you for a passcode, and that's telling me you're trying to go through it outside of it. So there really is no passcode, so don't email me and say, hey, what's the passcode? Because all that means is you're not going through the lockdown browser. So you got to make sure you go through that lockdown browser, but just follow the instructions when you get to the test to do it. And you may have had to do it in other classes, so hopefully, again, you won't have any issues there. Whoops. Okay, then we've got, again, if we keep going down, your project, again, like I said, it replaces a final exam. It shows that you know everything from start to finish about payroll accounting. And again, this submission 1 is all one submission, but it's like part A and part B. I used to have students submit them separately, but it's all in the same Excel spreadsheet. So it's going to be submitted all at once, but the first 2 tabs will be worth 50 points, and then the last 2 tabs are worth 20 points total. So you want to be real careful when you're working through the payroll register and the employee's earnings records. Those are really the most important, which is why they're worth the 50 points. And the other ones are the journal entries and the general ledger, which are a little bit less important only because the submission part A you'll use to do submission 2 and submission 3. So you'll use that data. So you want to make sure it's accurate. But again, that's not till the end, but it's a very important project, and you want to know that it is going to be time consuming and a decent amount of work. Then coming down here gives you your due dates as to when your homework will be due, when your tests are due, and then when your projects will be due. So if you're planning out your summer, you've got all of that. So again, take the time. And then again, this is the summer syllabus, so I'm talking as if you're only in summer. This class runs in 8-week sessions throughout fall and spring as well. So if you're watching this video and you're taking it in the fall or the spring, just pay attention to the dates that are in your syllabus. But they'll be set up the same way, but obviously just at a different time of the year. Okay. Then down here we have the link to your ebook, which again you'll get into through Cengage. And then this will take you into your home screen then, into Cengage or See Now 2 through Cengage, which is where your homework and your tests will be completed. And then if you do want, a lot of times in this class, students will ask, hey, I need some like extra practice. You can do, the textbook has a lot of exercises and problems in the back of each chapter, and then I've attached here the answers to the odd ones. So then you could go through and work some of those out and see, and you know what I mean, see that you're getting the same answers. Okay, so then we move into our actual units. So again, you'll have the 4 units. The first 3 are all going through the textbook. So we'll have a basic, again, learning objectives for those chapters. You will have a video that I go over the PowerPoint. You will have a PowerPoint itself. Again, the YouTube video is me talking over it. You'll have chapter notes. And then I'll go through some, then that's the same thing for each chapter. Now, chapter 1 is all concepts and like payroll laws, so there really isn't many problems. When you get into chapter 2, you'll see I have some YouTube problems where I work it out. Now, I'll be honest though, I don't, the tax tables change every year, so I don't update these videos with every change of the tax table. So just kind of pay attention. So that's where you can't really, like, I guess, double check me, like say you're doing it with me. If you go to your current tax tables, you'll see a little bit different number, not necessarily in chapter 2, but when we get into the tax table parts. So just, I'm going to say that to you now, just so you know, but the process is still the same on how to do it. All that changes is the numbers in the tables. But so my YouTube videos, in my mind, they're more to show you how to do it and how to work through the problems, not necessarily for you to go step by step and be verbatim with me, if that makes sense. I'm just trying to show you how you would go through the process to get to your answers on your problems. Then you'll have a review sheet that kind of maps out, again, what is going to be on the test, what type. You got multiple choice, you've got problems, and then you got to be careful in this See Now 2. It doesn't give you any room for rounding. You have to be very precise. So read the instructions carefully. It'll tell you how to round. So just so then you don't end up missing it. I do go into the tests and I'll look at what you missed and obviously give you the points if it was taken off for rounding. But it's easier if you just follow the instructions and don't have those issues. Then these will all be links into the See Now 2 for your homework and for your study plan. So like I said, chapter 1 isn't real mathematical yet. It's more concepts, but I'll just open it up so you can kind of see it. So again, it will pop you right in there and you'd say start the assignment now, and then you're going to walk through it and then submit it for grading, and then the grades should populate then right back into our Brightspace, into your grade center here. So that's how every chapter will be set up, and then for each chapter you'll have 2 chapters and you'll have a test. So 1 and 2 is on test 1, 3 and 4 is on test 2, 5 and 6 is on test 3. Then the unit 4 is the payroll project. Like I said, it's required for you to pass this test. Here I give you a lot of detail about it and try again to assist you in understanding what the importance of it. I have a YouTube video that walks through it, a version of it, might not be exactly the same as yours, but again, you should be watching my YouTube videos for the process and not for like verbatim number by number type instruction. I do allow a discussion post so you guys can ask questions and I can answer there. And then this is the spreadsheet that you will download and you will complete it in Excel. And then that is what you're going to submit for your first 2 part 1 and part 2, but the first basically 2 submissions. Now notice it has checkpoints over here to the right, and those are designed to help you so you know if you get it correctly. So you'll know when you submit it if you would have it 100% correct. And then I give you a link to the tax tables, and then these are the drop boxes to submit those. And then we get into our W-2s and our W-3s and our 1099s. So I give you the forms. They can be completed online. Sometimes students struggle, but there's different ways that you can make that PDF editable. If you can't, you can just handwrite it and then scan it back or take pictures and put them back into the Dropbox. Then the last submission, you'll do your form 940 and 941. I probably could update that one for the 2024. At the time in the spring, it wasn't released at the time I put it in here, so I'll update that. And then your SUTA, your state unemployment tax, and then your state unemployment tax summary report. So then those you'll do on your own. Again, and those PDFs should all be fillable, so you should be able to just type it in, and then you'll submit those for your third submission. And then I do give you a sample project just to help you through it. Really the key to it is that final submission is that final section is a time-consuming section. So you do have to make sure you don't wait to the last minute to start it. You need to start right on Monday of week 7 and just get right into it. Okay, so I think I covered most of the important parts that you need to know. And of course, you can always email me any questions that you have.